It is you delivering yourself from your past, from the pain of your past. And how you deliver yourself is you face it, you confront it, you feel it so you can understand it. And then you get the wisdom so that you understand it. And now you see the difference in who you are now versus who you were then. You didn't know better at the time, but what do you know now? And now that you know better, you know how to do better. What is the wisdom you gained from that experience? What is it that you learned about yourself and about the other person and about the whole group involved? What did you learn? When you find out what you've learned, now you gain the wisdom. Now that you have the wisdom, you know that if you are ever to be put in a situation like that again, you know the truth. You know you have the wisdom to navigate. And because you have this newfound wisdom, you can now release the burden and the weight that experience has weighed heavily on you, like the burden that you were carrying because of what has happened. You can now release that burden because you now see the totality of the entire experience, and you're no longer carrying the weight and burden of someone else's actions. A lot of times it's because we can tend to blame ourselves for what has happened to us at the hands of another person. And when another person harms us, we think, why did we allow ourselves to be harmed? Why didn't we do this? We're putting the burden of their choice, of their actions on our shoulders, instead of recognizing this was a person that is abusive. This is a person that chose to cause harm and wanted to cause harm. And because they wanted to cause harm and they executed that harm, that's abnormal. I did not deserve to be treated that way. I deserve to be treated with respect and human decency. We were not put here on this earth to be abused. We were put here on this earth to be loved. And anything that is not loving you is abusing you. Anything that is not loving you, that is only abusing you and causing you harm, neglecting you, abandoning you, making you feel worthless, making you feel like you don't have any value, is not coming from the Most High God. It's coming from the devil. It's coming from the enemy himself, shit or herself. It's coming from the enemy. And you have to recognize that if it's coming from the enemy, you don't need to deal with it because God did not bring that. God did not intend for you to have this long term. You may go through your phases and your trials and tribulations, but you aren't meant to stay there lifelong. When things come from God, there is the possibility of longevity, of a lifelong bond that you can have with someone. But when God brings something into your life, there is the possibility of longevity, the possibility that this person could be in your life lifelong. And lifelong could mean, one, this person came into your life when you were first born and you have known them your whole life. Like you haven't known a life without them in it. Or these people or this person can come into your life later on in life, maybe when you're a teenager, or maybe when you are a young adult, or even when not like a young adult, like in your like 20s or 30s, but maybe you're like, you know, later on into your adulthood, you know, as you're approaching middle age. This could be someone like in their 40s or even middle age, 50s. And this could be someone that could remain in your life for the rest of your life. Like you can have people that, there are those that have met friends in their 40s, met their partner in their 40s, and they live the rest of their lives together till death do they part. And they live to their like 90s, you know, maybe hundreds, maybe 80s, but they live the rest of their lives with each other. And they met later on in life because this was lifelong. This could have been a partner, like a marriage, or even a friend of theirs. But when God intends for relationships to be lifelong, to have longevity, it's going to come from God. It's going to be loving. It's going to be peaceful. You're going to experience unconditional love from those people. But when you are experiencing conditional love, meaning I love you when I can control you. I love you when you are under my control. I love you when you do what I say. I love you when you do what I want. I love you when you obey me. But it's not that I love you, I give you love. So I'm not loving you, the person. And loving you, and how you love a person is you love that person the way that they need to be loved. Meaning you give them more patience if they need more patience. You give them more gentleness if they need more gentleness. You watch your tone, you watch your words because you know how sensitive they are. You are more patient with them because you understand they require more patience. That is you loving someone the way that they need to be loved. But if a person doesn't love you the way that you need to be loved and they just give you love, they're loving you with conditions. They're giving you love. And we have people, parents, that they don't love their children unconditionally. They love their children with conditions, and they give their children love, but they don't love their child for who they are, for their own person. They don't love their child the way that they need to be loved. They just give the child love with conditions. And on the other side of the coin, they're abandoning, neglecting this child, abusing this child, just belittling, chastising, being cold-hearted with this child. So this child is not receiving any type of warmth or nurture, really. All they're receiving is hatred and abuse. So why, on God's great green earth, why would Mother Gaia, why would she intend to have her precious children live under a parent's roof and live with these earthly parents that are not loving her the way that her child intends to be loved? The parents failed. Parents can fail, and parents are afraid of failing, but everyone experiences failure. But parents especially are failures. Parents can fail too. A lot of parents out there have failed their children and they refuse to accept it. They refuse to be. But here I'm here to tell you, you are listening to this right now most likely because your parents failed you. Either one or the other, or both of them. But your parent or parents failed you. They did not do their job as a parent. They were more concerned of their own needs and wants and desires than yours. They did not work on themselves enough to be a better person, to be a better parent for their child. They stayed stagnant. They did not do what they needed to do to teach you, to guide you. They just expected you to figure life out on your own, and that is why they failed you. So if you know more than them now, if you are more wiser than them, if you are more mature than them, if you are more smarter than them, if you are way more intelligent than they are, and you've had to find out this information on your own and it did not come from them, they cannot take not a goddamn ounce of credit for who you became. Because that was you and God and the people that God brought into your life to help you. That's who did it, not them. You can thank them for neglecting you, because if they didn't neglect you, you wouldn't have been over here to get what you needed. But they don't get a goddamn ounce of credit for who you became when they did not have a hand in helping you have the positive attributes. All they contributed was your pain. But that pain, you alchemize that into power. It's like, thank you for giving me all of this pain because now I have all of this power. But you take no credit for who I have became. That's how you have your deliverance. By you knowing the truth and the reality of the situation, by what you lived, by what you experienced. And can't nobody take your experience away from you. Can't nobody take how you feel away from you. And don't you ever take your experience away from you. Don't you ever gaslight yourself. Don't you ever invalidate how you feel. You feel how you feel. You acknowledge how you feel. So the fuck what if people think, oh, that's childish, that's petty. So the fuck what, it's my feelings and I'm gonna feel it, goddammit. You gotta stand your ground on how you feel in your experience and what you feel has happened. Because when you can stand on your truth and ground yourself and how you feel, can't nobody take that away from you. You